Today, I'm going to be giving you a very bare bones-ish Aloy review. Basically, I am done. I've maxed her. I've tested everything. I've built her. I've done everything you want to do, and I found the way I enjoy playing her the most. And it's mostly like this, to where you just basically you burn ult with a 4-piece emblem, then you use the skill, and you instantly get your ult back. Now the reason that this works, and the reason this is actually pretty fun, is because the ult is on a 12-second cooldown, which means I can spam the ult again before the skill's even up. If you notice, the cooldown now of the skill and the ult are pretty synchronized. So, I'm going to be showcasing a bunch of stuff like that. I'm going to be showcasing Aloy today. I'm going to showcase how I use her at least, and I'm going to use some domains, some boss fights, all sorts of stuff. But let's go ahead and let's get into it with the builds. I want to talk about weapons first, and I'm going to talk about each weapon that I think is really, really good with her. So, ignore the Amos bow because this is my copium placeholder until 2.2 where I think a bow is going to come out that's really, really good with her. If you guys have seen leaks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the Rust. This is the bow I used to think was really, really good with her until I actually got down to testing her kit and figuring out how she works. This bow is actually copium. It enables her copium playstyle, but it's still cope. I don't recommend using this. You can if you want, but I don't recommend using it. Stringless is probably going to be the best option for damage, but I think where she's going to shine is actually with the sac bow. I think using a sacrificial bow on Aloy is going to be really, really good. The only thing is you have to run her with 4-piece emblem. If you run her with 4-piece emblem, you can really maximize the effects of the sacrificial bow. And you can do like something like, as you saw, I instantly got ult back, but you can do something like bombs, ult, bomb, ult, or something like that, because essentially with 4-piece emblem setup, if you have it with an ER Sands, you are going to instantly get ult back in one bomb throw because the bombs generate so much energy particles for Aloy, so you're going to be an ult spamming monster. And Sacrificial Bow kind of just enables that even further. But I would be debating between one of the three. The main debate for you is basically going to be Stringless for some more ult damage or Sacrificial Bow for more consistency. Now let's go ahead and let me get into the sets. So, all the sets I have for Aloy. I'm going to give my opinion on each of them. Blizzard Strayer is good and super consistent. It lets you build into crit damage, but the thing is that I think you're going to want to run either Stringless or Sacrificial Bow, like I said. I don't think you're really going to want to do her Frozen Wilds or get her coil stacks. I'll explain more and then I'll showcase the way I play her so you guys can get a decent idea. Then other than that, 2-piece Blizzard Strayer, 2-piece Noblesse was what I originally was running her on. It's pretty good. I like that. You can also run her 4-piece Noblesse if you want to buff the team up. But the one I've been enjoying the absolute most is 4-piece Emblem. I think 4-piece Emblem with her and turning her into an ult bot because she has such a low natural cooldown on her ult at 12 seconds. Her skill is 20. Running her as an ult bot actually gives her more uptime for me, and I actually really enjoy it like this. So, I'm going to now talk about her skills. Obviously, I don't need to talk about constellations. This is the most free-to-play you can get for a unit. I'm going to talk about her skills. Her normal attack multipliers are really low. I think they're low, and I don't think they're that good. She basically has Yoimiya level normal attack multipliers, but Yoimiya's E works kind of the exact same way, but these coil stacks are very inconsistent. I don't recommend worrying about rushing ice. I don't recommend doing this. But the chill water bomblets themselves deal fantastic damage. So if you throw the chill water bomblets out and you suck them all up via an animo unit, then you deal really good damage, as well as if you're running her with enough ER, she's going to be able to fund this. Now this multiplier is fantastic. It is a super high multiplier for a free-to-play unit, and it hits pretty hard. I've done melts of upwards of 60k. I don't know if I'll be able to showcase it in the video because I'm not that good at setting up elemental reactions. I'll probably mess them up a bunch. But I've done melts upwards of 60k, so whenever you activate the coil stacks, get 4-piece coil stacks, you can play her like Yoimiya. I highly recommend not doing that. I recommend just using her as a skill in ult nuke, because her skill hits really hard as well, because it spawns 6 chill water bomblets, each at 56%. I don't recommend running her like Yoimiya, and I'll showcase her damage. Whenever you do that, it's really not that good. I'll make sure to use Amos, or I'll probably throw the level 70 Rust on to try to... I'm pretty sure level 70 Rust would be as good. I'll use both. I'll see which one does a little bit more. Anyways, next we have... Her weapon is bad. I want to make sure to make this clear. This weapon is very bad. Don't use this. I've gone over that her ult hits like a truck and it's low cooldowns. So next we're going to go over one other thing about her, and a lot of people don't actually know this, is that whenever she gets a coil effect, whenever she receives any level of coil stacks, she buffs your team's attack by 8%. Pretty pog. I think that's pretty good. She is free, 100% free. Like, people got to remember, you can't compare her to Ganyu, obviously. No duh who's better. You can compare her to the Traveler. That's the closest comparison I would make to anybody. She functions well in Quick Swap, like I've said before. She has access to Melt. She has terrible base stats. I want to throw that one out there too. She has really low base attack. Pretty sure that's 766 with a level 80 Amos. Really low base attack. She's basically a glorified 4-star unit with how low her base stats are. The E auto attacks are garbage, and I will showcase that. She has very long skill cooldowns. But, like I said, you can use Emblem to at least spam the ult on a 12-second cooldown, so you have high multipliers. Anyways, let's get into the showcase portion of things. Alright, so for the very first part of the showcase, I'm at least just going to showcase her normal stacks real quick, get it out of the way. We're going to showcase the coil stacks. I got the, almost got the buff. There we go, you can see. 14k, 2700, 4k, 15. Even if I were to run a proper set on it to try to buff that up to give it 50%, if I were to run Shime and swap off the emblem, it still would be copium. Don't play like that, please. Don't. Instead, what you want to do, at least in my opinion, you want to go ahead and you want to burn this, that, and you want to group them all up in one spot with an animo. And now look, that to me is, you swap out, and if you look at her ults, it should already be back active, because this is how I play her. And 26k nuke on a 12-second cooldown, and you can also melt with that. You could freeze with that, but I think melt, and if you melt with that, you can deal somewhere between 50 to 60k. And keep in mind, this is only level 6. You can get it all the way up to level 10, and it will be much more. The only issue is she uses the exact same weekly mats as the Raiden Shogun. That's not very fun now, is it? So the next place I'm going to take her is Child, and yes, I'm going to showcase her in this team. Not all of you are going to have these units, that's perfectly fine. But just know this is the team I really enjoy using her in. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and go against Mr. Childe here. We're going to throw our bombs. We're going to do this. We're going to go ahead and do this again. And there we did 24k. Pretty pog. We can see we're doing the coil stack normals, which are kind of cope, I ain't going to lie. Coil stack normals are pretty rough, dude. But we're basically just buying time until, you know, until her skills are off cooldown. This is what I was meaning whenever I was saying about the long cooldowns with her skill. Thanks to running 4-piece emblem with the ER sands, we can in fact go ahead and use the ult almost on cooldown. We can use the ult very, very easily, very efficiently, and with Raiden buffing it, it actually hits pretty good. Well, if it crits. It just wanted to prove me wrong right there, huh? But it actually is a decently strong tool that I highly recommend, you know, taking full advantage of. But she's never going to be like some crazy DPS dealer. I mean, she's free, like I said. And then there's also that issue she has with targeting sometimes. If enemies move too quickly, she's going to have issues targeting them. So now we're waiting on her skill so we can fund the very expensive 40 cost ult she has. Yeah, it's not all that much. I think that was a 25k-er. That's pretty pog. I think 25k is good. Alright, now we're back at it. Luckily our ult's just about back off cooldown. And we're going to actually use this team the way I want to use it so I can showcase the team to you, because otherwise he would take forever because he's actually kind of tanky in comparison. So we're going to do this. Draw this on here. We're going to go ahead and swirl. We're going to go back to Zhongli. There we go. We're going to do that. Get our shield. We're going to go back to Aloy. We're going to do this. Come back to here and do this. And bop, bop, bop. There we go. Normally on that rotation, if I didn't have these skills mistimed, I could refund Aloy's ult to start another rotation to buy time to refund all the other ults. Because if he was able to survive, the Raiden Shogun could sit there and beat on stuff for a little bit and regen the energy enough to where I can do a rotation back to Aloy, and by the time I come back to the other characters, I can do that rotation again, single target. But this is an Aloy showcase, so we're going to go back, and now I'm going to run a domain with Aloy, and nobody's going to have energy, so you can see how good her energy regen is with this setup. Almost forgot to show the stats. Here's the stats for you guys. 54, 120, 215, 75.4, and let me show you the artifacts real quick while I'm here. Bop, bop, bop. I know this one's bad, this is why Raiden Shogun isn't using it. Bop, bop. Alright. And now we're on to a domain. Alright, now we're at the domain. We're going to use Aloy. We're going to kick it off with Zhongli's shield and Raiden Shogun's skills so we can do some stuff here. We're going to fund that real quick. We're going to go ahead and cause one. We're going to come back to this. We're going to go to Mr. John Lee. And you can see the energy regeneration that she allows because she can buy some time for skill cooldowns if you cycle pretty well. But then whenever you get stuck with her cooldowns, it's kind of cool. So you really want to have a little bit of a backup plan because she's not going to be your solo carry. You're going to want to run her alongside other characters that actually, you know, can function. Anyways, we'll just keep rolling. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. We're going to go right in, and then we're going to do this. And then we're going to bop, 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 bop. And there we go. And everyone's ult's back, very pog. And next, I'm going to showcase something that you guys asked about specifically. Can she one-shot Abyss Shields? We're finally getting to the main meat of the puzzle. Can she one-shot and absolutely obliterate Abyss Shields? We're going to go to the Noblesse domain, and you're going to be pretty disappointed. I'm going to be blunt with you guys. This will be no. But I'm going to show. I'll just showcase it to you guys. So I have thought of a few tricks to go ahead and try to help this, but it's still kind of cope to try to one-shot Abyss Shields with her. I don't recommend it, but you know, to each their own. So you want to throw your bomb, and then you want to get all the droplets on one side, and then swirl on the other side with the character, and that's the best way you're going to be able to deal some damage to Abyss Shields. In the end, though, you can see not even close. It's not even close for as far as the Abyss Shield goes. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and go on to the next thing now. So how good do I think Aloy is? Does she really have a place in your team? Is she worth building and putting your resources into? In my opinion, if you run her the way I'm running her with an ER Sands with 4-piece emblem, I think so. If you run her as a quick swap old nuker, I'm actually enjoying her playstyle. I enjoy her functioning in the team because this team's meant to rotate really, really quickly. And she functions really well, actually, alongside the Raiden Shogun because the Raiden Shogun wants a lot of allies that can rotate quickly. She has very low cooldowns on her ult, but very high cooldowns on her skill. 12-second cooldown on ult's pretty low. So she's able to spam her burst if you have enough ER, and her skill generates a ton of particles, so she can really help out in funding like a Eula ult or funding a Diona ult. She's going to work really good in tandem with another Cryo as a pure battery. She has a lot of uses and capabilities, but my best advice is just get her to level 80, level 6 talents, and play with her and see how you like to use her, because she's a very varied character. If you like using her in the Yoimiya play way that I said don't, but you really like to use her that way, then by all means you do it. This is your world play the way you want. Anyways, how does she compare to other units? Obviously, if you compare her against Ganyu or any of the other characters, hell no, she's definitely not there. But I think she is worth your investment. I think she can do good. You just have to really put in the work to get her there. But that's basically the showcase. Let me know what you guys think about Aloy in the comment sections below. Other than that, thank you guys all for watching as always. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.